for a little bit while we're waiting on people to show up. Yeah, so this lance is actually pretty bad for PvP, to be perfectly honest. So like I would recommend this weapon. This weapon, I don't know how much it's been nerfed though in the latest patch. Did I get the red sign soapstone? I think I bought it. Whose soul is that? Oh, Belfort Gargoyle soul. Yeah, we did get the red sign soapstone. Drop my sign down. This, however, is like my favorite thing ever. The Dragon Torso Stone. That was super fast. Why do I only have 3 casts of Great Lightning Spear? Am I getting summoned? Cancelled or something? Cannot use bonfires. Oh, there we go. Summon, cancel, failed to join multiplayer session. Oh! Is that the maximum number of casts on that now? You've got to be kidding me. 3 uses? Oh, man. Oh, wow, they really dropped the number of view casts. Oh my god, that may not even be worth running anymore. Holy crap. That's sorely disappointing. Apparently they buffed its power, but that's a lot of uses gone. That's 2/3 of the uses being taken away from the stuff. It can be enchanted now, can't it? Apparently not a dark weapon. Oh, it's a fight club. Okay, cool. Like, what's that? Flame whip? Let him heal up. What's the host's name here? Vengarl. What is he? That's what weapon is that? That's awesome. I don't know what weapon that is. Oh man, I wanted to go. Kind of block and hope they don't. Oh, the parry! Nice work. This guy's actually really good. It looks like an S-Stoke with a target shield. And the backstab with the knife. That's pretty awesome. I do enjoy this kind of Fight Club stuff. Wow, that guy got destroyed. Let him come heal up, and I want to go with this. The way these fight clubs work now is a lot of fun. Hercules. Is this guy dual wielding Zweihanders? Oh, what the? Please don't. This guy's got bleed on his weapons too. I'm loving some PvP. I'm healing up though. I'm almost dead. Oh, is the host gonna fight him? Have mercy. It's like one of my favorite. I should probably have attuned to warmth and put it down. Anyone else is gonna get dragged into a fight club though. So something I learned recently is that you can actually cut off both of Duke Deer Fresh's heads, and making the boss impossible to kill. Oh, Great Magic Barrier, really? That's fun. I'm not gonna lie, I actually have no idea how to parry things in this game. I could parry basically everybody in Dark Souls 1. Oh, throwing knives? Wow, that's... Quite dodged that one. I should have followed up with that. I thought his weapon just lit on fire for a second there. Holy cow. Okay, that does kind of prevent the back hop. I'm gonna let him come back around because I'm not going down there. That's not happening. Almost. He's going for it. It's don't delock me. Well played, my good sir. Well played. Heal me, warmth. Hello, Swaggy. Why you know red? What do you mean why I know red? I am red. Whoa! What the actual fuck, dude? You mad because I was winning? And now I had to re-dragon form. Why you know red? Really? What's the chat overlay doing? Good and fine. Back to Dark Souls. Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and start the challenge run now. Let me quit back out of this. That was 2 victories, and then I got backstabbed while I was trying to heal up for the next fight. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad run. Alright. On the challenge run. Woo, yes. Should probably have actually just changed the title. Oh, why you red? Okay. I thought I said why you know red. Don't ask why I'm a red phantom and then leave. Alrighty then. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna grab. Just bring up Skype right now would not be a good idea. We're going to go to new game. We're gonna skip the cinematics. I guess we shall start off the first challenge at no armor. Let me actually bring up a notepad and we'll add that to the challenges so far. No armor. Start with that. Looks like a good plan to me. So, goodbye armor. This is going to make some boss fights really, really difficult. I'm real fast too. 11:47. And if Swaggy happens to still be in the chat, I was a red fandom because we were waiting for people to show up. Just doing a little bit of PvP while we're waiting for the run to start. All right. If I would do that. Challenge McPerson. Ah. Me. Okay. All right. Let's see. That's gonna make it really hard. I think what has a good weapon to start off with. All right, chat. What class should I be? And don't make me be a deprived because I don't want this run to be impossible. I'd have to run for the while I'm waiting on you guys, gonna check my Steam friends list. Sure, don't let me Who was on? Nobody. Great. Fun. I'm the only one here. Not a big deal, though. Well, since that looks like I get to decide who I'm going to be. Fun stories, fun stories. Yes. Yep. Yeah, anyone watching this on YouTube, because I am putting this up on YouTube, I will probably do character creation. We'll do character creation as one video, and kind of we'll do some tutorial stuff while we're at it. All right, so as for character classes, so our choices here when you first start the game, you have warrior, which is pretty okay. It's a pretty good character class. Got decent stat placement. Knight, which is actually really good. Swordsman, which I don't particularly like, but I'm not particularly good at dual wielding. Bandit, which honestly I've never run, but it lets you start with a bow, which is fairly convenient. Cleric, which is one of the better starts and allows some alternate routes instead of just going straight to Forest of Fallen Giants. The Sorcerer, which I ran my entire first character on. It's actually really good. You have a lot of effective range to use and a good amount of soul arrows, and you have access to like 60 casts of soul arrow at the beginning of the game. Explorer, which you start off with the Ferrous Lockstone, which saves you about 4,000 souls. You start off with some bolts for a crossbow that you don't have. They're on their back right here. They're supposed to be. You start off with some bolts and a dagger. You have to start off with a lot of other items and stuff like that, like repair powder, which is incredibly useful. And of course, deprived starts with nothing. Yeah. So, in my experience, the Knight is one of the best classes to start as. It has optimal stat placement for basically any build you want to do aside from magic, for like any physical damage-based build you want to do. Your armor set's actually really good. You can fast roll, I think, with it all on. You start off with a broadsword, which is actually a really good weapon. It's fairly powerful, and if you upgrade it, it will last you a good ways into the game, at least up until the center. And then it starts to get kind of mediocre because it doesn't have the range that you really need. And you can always swap into an actual greatsword, which is one of the better PvE weapons, in my opinion. This class does really well with basically anything physical. We'll go ahead and hit the help stuff down here. So you have starts off level 13, which just means it's going to take you a little bit more souls to level up than the other classes that are levels, basically because you're level 13. You're higher level than most of the other ones. You have 12 vigor, which has that's a good amount of HP. 6 endurance, it's okay. You'll probably end up with we want to have 15 to 20 endurance by the end of the game. It's not like Dark Souls 1 where you want to have 40. Maxing out your stamina isn't as high of a priority now because you have upgraded Chloranthy rings you can get throughout the game and through New Game Plus. He's got 7 Vitality. Vitality is equip load, so he can hold quite a bit of stuff. By stuff, I mean armor equipped to him, and weapons and things. He has 4 attunement, which means it's going to take you a lot of levels if you want to get any spell casts at all. So there is that downside to him. His strength is fairly good. It's pretty average, and his dex is also pretty even with it. So you can use most early game weapons, long swords, short swords, with just a few levels into it. His 9 adaptability, which means he uses items a lot faster than quite a few of the other classes, and has various high resistances like poison and bleed than most of the classes. He's very low intelligence and faith, though, faith being higher than intelligence. So those are a problem if you want to go into a strength faith build or a dex intelligence build, stuff like that. They do prove kind of weak for that regard. The warrior has some really high strength, so if you're going for a full strength-based build, I actually made my shield-only character as a warrior, mainly because he starts with a broken straight sword, and is probably one of the weakest weapons in the game. It is basically useless, it has no penetrating power, it breaks really easily. His shield is pretty decent, it's 80% block rate, which is pretty good for the start of the game. If you pre-order the game like I did, you end up with a weapon that they're not a weapon, they're the shield that has more. But other than that, if you don't have that bonus, it's pretty good. His armor set's also really nice. He has full armor, unlike a lot of the other classes. He has fairly high dex and incredibly high strength. He has a lot less health and a little more intelligence. He's a little more rounded. Not the best class to start as though if you're new to the game. The swordsman, like I said, has really high dex. He's a pretty strong class from what I can tell. Basically, you want to dual wield a lot of stuff, multiple dual scimitar, stuff like that. He's actually a fairly decent start for. Well, not a fairly decent. He's an okay start, I guess would be a good way to put it. He's probably one of the better starts if you're going to do the Mage Knight build, which you run dual blue flames. And that allows you to Crystal Magic Weapon both your weapons. And then Power Stance them, which is really strong. The Bandit starts with a bow. There's not a whole lot of use for an early game bow. It becomes rather useful in No Man's Wharf, where you can shoot the bell and pass through skip half the level. At the same time, though, you can get a bow from a chest in Leningrass shop, so it's not really all that useful, in my opinion. Cleric is really cool. Like I said, he has fairly decent stats, a good amount of health, and good faith, and it allows him to. And with his starting weapon of the mace, you can basically make your first area Hades Tower Flame and pass through it with relative ease. This gives you early access to Lightning Spear, which, from what I can tell, got significantly nerfed in the last patch, as it only gets 5 uses. I think it's really sad. Sunlight Spear didn't take nearly as big as his Great Lightning Spear did, though. Great Lightning Spear lost 3/4 of its uses. It gets 3 uses, and it used to get 12, so it gets 1/4 of its uses now. Apparently, it does more damage, but that's a lot of uses gone. The one thing about the Cleric, though, is that, for one, you don't have the strength to one-hand that mace at the beginning of the game. You'll have to pump a level into your strength to be able to do that. And he only gets chest plate, although it is a rather good chest plate. Sorcerer, like I said, very, very good, has a good sorcery start. If you're going to be a Hexer, I recommend starting as a Sorcerer, as it is simply better than starting as a Cleric in that regard. Early cast of spells, like that, I kind of already explained him. Fairly good stats. I can't really say much for this class. You do start with a magic resistant ring, which is basically useless until Shrine of Amana. And by that point, you've already got better magic resistant rings. There's actually one right before Shrine of Amana that you get +2, so not a huge deal. Unless you're planning on getting invaded a whole bunch by people who cast magic. Kinda useless. I mean, it's easy access to the Chloranthy ring, but not a whole lot can be said there. And of course, the prize starts with nothing. And also you start off at soul level 1, too, which your stats are all even. It's pretty good for a mundane build, but you have to get access to mundane first, and that could take you a while. So we're actually probably going to start this challenge run. Make sure I haven't gotten any new chats things saying I can do otherwise. Okay, we're going to start as a cleric, actually. So no armor run. Clerics don't have a whole lot of armor to begin with. It'll give us some access to some more powerful abilities. We could do Sorcerer, though. I'm trying to think what'll help us the most in the long run. As we lose more and more things, we have to do more and more stuff. Yeah, I think Cleric will be good. As long as they don't do, no miracles, we'll be okay. Actually, no, we're going to do a Sorcerer. This will let us go, we could always go Mage Knight at the end of the game if we want to with this, and then it allows us to do a fairly large amount of variation in our things. It allows us early access to a lot of souls. So we're going to go ahead and pick that. And our gift, so your options are nothing, which is basically just kicking yourself in the teeth. The life ring, which you can get in Forest of the Fallen Giants really easily just by knocking on a door and killing some enemies. By knocking, I mean you attack the door. Human Effigy, which you can get a bunch from a chest, and you can farm it infinitely, really easily for these. So with Bonfire Ascetics, so it's not really worth getting that. Healing Wares is actually really good. If you're new to the game, that's a lot of healing items. If you're new to the game, Healing Wares is actually a really good start. It allows you to take more damage and learn the game a little bit better. Homeward Bone, this is really dumb. It lets you jump back to a bonfire. The item itself is really good because it lets you jump back to a bonfire at any point you want without losing your souls. But you can get 5 of these in Majula, so it's not worth picking this up. Seed of a Tree of Giants is a little harder to get. What it does is when you get invaded, it allows you to cause the enemies of the world to attack the invader. It's good, but at the same time, I wouldn't recommend it for new players. Bonfire Aesthetic, if you're going to do challenges, you're going to want to grab this. It will allow you to make the levels harder by putting them into New Game Plus mode while you're in New Game. It also can be used to farm enemies who stop respawning or respawn a boss for more powerful, in some cases, for more powerful souls. And of course, Petrified Something, which is what I tend to take. It allows you to trade with Dinah and Tilo at the beginning of the game. For generally a really rare item, you could end up with a very powerful heavy mace or a great hammer. You could end up with the Chandler's Trident, which for a long time, Power Sensing knows was one of the optimum PvP builds that lets you stun lock people after buffing yourself. Not particularly anymore, they nerfed it a little bit, but it's still really strong. You can get a whip for whip runs. You can get the White Ring, which lets you disguise yourself as a phantom, so it's harder to invade you, or for invaders to find you, especially if you have a lot of friends with you. You could end up with, or it lets you troll people in the Rat Covenant. I may actually grab Bonfire Aesthetics this time, as a whip's not really going to help me, and getting into Mage Knight would be really what I want to do here. Where's my can I do is there a random? Here we're gonna do male, face. There we go. Oh God! There we go. That's perfect. All right, guys. For those of you watching on YouTube, this is the end of episode 1. We'll continue the challenge run. I'm streaming right now, I was streaming this on Twitch. So be sure to check it out. We'll be doing some more. I doubt we'll finish this run in one session. And hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. As for those watching on Twitch, we're going to continue the run right here, finalizing creation.